she said.
Yeah.
She'd rather get back when you came and get her done.
You know,
They don't post it on the web.
I seem like I complain a lot, but that's just
I haven't read
my
any of
way
these.
of
Have you read them?
They're not very funny.
They good?
Yeah, they're real good.
So hung up on,
Kind of like Grisham, if you
I
like.
was gonna say, I've been so hung up on Grisham.
He's,
And he
This
hadn't
is a
come
little-
out with anything.
he's actually better than Grisham.
Now they say.
Okay. If I can have your attention, we'll call the October City of Rolla Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. You should have received the posted agenda. If no proposed changes, we'll follow it as posted and distributed. First item is to approve the minutes. You also should have received a copy of the minutes. Any corrections or changes? None, I'll rule those approved as printed and distributed. Next item is report of recent city council actions. Mr. Coots?
The city council met last night, and the thing that was on the agenda that planning and zoning commission had seen before was the request for rezoning 1701 Farrar Drive. That was recommended for approval to the city council, and the city council did approve the ordinance on second reading last night.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. We have one public hearing. It's a vacation of a portion of right-of-way of 6th Street adjacent to 607 North Main Street, Bar.
As I
Mr.
said,
Coots.
this is a request for a vacation of a portion of the right-of-way of 6th Street. I've got an air photo showing the property. The property is the one you may recognize, remember it, on 6th Street. It is a storage building property. The portion of 6th Street requested to be vacated is on the north side of the right-of-way adjacent to this storage unit property, so I've got it kind of highlighted in red. The request is to vacate 7 inches of right-of-way. This is the exhibit that was submitted, that was done by their surveyor. You can see basically the property is for sale, and so they went and had the property surveyed as part of that, and turned out that this building that's been there for a long time is actually a little over a half a foot into the right-of-way of 6th Street. And so that's created a kind of an issue with a cloud on the title type issue, and so the financer is requesting that before they'll make a loan on the property that this be taken care of. So that's why they're in here for the vacation. They took and they had the utilities that are nearby surveyed, and there's nothing in the area requested to be vacated. That once again, this is just basically just the area where the existing building is. This is a street view. You can see the building. So it has a bit of foundation in there. Then there's also kind of retaining wall and fence and things like that. So basically, there are no utilities in the area requested to be vacated. There were no objections received from any utility providers. Working with Public Works, they feel that the right-of-way of 6th Street will still be wide enough to do whatever they need to do, and it's important to note that there really won't be any change in the real world because the building is already there. 6th Street is a collector road. A collector road normally requires 60 feet of right-of-way, so this request, if it's approved, would bring them down to 59 feet and 3 inches instead of 60 feet, so it'll be 7 inches shy of what normally a collector road would have. The encroachment for this has existed for many years. Before we move on to the public hearing, did you have any questions for me?
Any questions? The bar's on the property to the east. We're just dealing with the one lot. They're separate properties maybe.
Correct.
So they're not asking for a variance on it's all parking lot. I don't,
Right. The other property doesn't. Well, the other property's not for sale right now.
yeah,
but,
I understand that.
But get back to the air photo. But as you can see, it is just
Where
a
the
parking
cars
lot.
are, that's not included, right?
Correct.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll officially open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this issue, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll officially close the public hearing. Any other questions for Mr. Coots?
You have a few options. Once again, we can recommend that the request be approved by the city council. We can find that the request is not appropriate and recommend denial. Or if you need more information before you make a decision, you can table it to a certain date.
I think we can also approve with the recommendations. Any other questions or comments? I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we send this request to the council with our recommendation
For approval?
for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have, got those? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Bowie,
Yes.
Eberly,
Yes.
Jordan,
He's on now on city council, so it won't be till they appoint someone else.
Martin,
Yes.
Schmidt,
Yes.
Monty Shields,
Yes.
Stephen Shields.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. Next item is we have one item under new business. A discussion will be held to arrange a training session for planning and zoning commissioners. Mr. Coots.
So I brought this up to the Board of Adjustment last week. Basically, what I'm proposing is to try to put together a training session with both Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Adjustment members. There'll be, of course, some things that are more for the Planning Commission and some things that are more for the Board of Adjustment, but things such as general questions about running meetings will be, of course, work for both parties. It's also, I think, pretty important to have both of them done together at the same time because sometimes, people switch. Sometimes people go to the Board of Adjustment. Some people move from the Board of Adjustment up to the Planning Commission so that they will already have at least some knowledge, be able to get started if that happens. For you all, I understand that you've had training a couple years ago, and most of you all have been on the board for a number of years, so for the most part, I would say it's probably more of a refresher more than anything. In talking to the Board of Adjustment, their preference would be to try to schedule this on a night that they would have had a Board of Adjustment meeting, preferably if meeting was canceled, or if it's not a meeting that's canceled, to do it before the meeting. They thought it would be okay if I was the one who did the training, try to put something together instead of try to bring an attorney or somebody like that in, or try to send you all somewhere. I'm thinking since y'all have a lot of experience already, perhaps if there was some issues that you were having or some questions that you had, perhaps you could just send them to me and I could try to incorporate them. But do you have any questions about any of this, or comments, or thoughts?
MRPC is usually put on a fall. Are they not doing one this year? Or Merrimack Regional Planning in St. James that covers the area, and I've attended some of theirs.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see if they're going to be doing something. But yeah, I'll look into that.
Of course, they usually have someone from MML, Missouri Municipal League,
Mhm.
come down and put on the training for them. So, if someone wanted additional training, you might research if there's anything available. But no, any other questions or comments? I don't think we can always use more training because it's a complex issue, and having been on the council, one of the hardest things for me to get used to was the issues dealing with planning and zoning on the council more than the budget and the other personnel and some of those other things.
Alrighty, well, I'll like I said,
Anybody
I'll
have a
reach
preference
out.
as when we meet? Is a night meeting?
Depends on the baseball schedule.
I think he's smart enough not to schedule the Cardinals playoff game.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'd say,
Well,
go ahead then.
I'll reach out to the MRPC and see if they actually already have something coming up. If they do, that might be an important detail. And then we'll see. I think we do have something scheduled for the next Board of Adjustment meeting. So I don't know if we want to try to do it next month or maybe try for December. But we'll work on a date.
Okay.
All right.
Chairperson has nothing to report. We have no outstanding committees. Anything from staff? Anything else, Mr. Coots, that you need to, there's a lot going on in Rolla. More construction than I've seen for a while. Any citizens go ahead.
Yeah. Just met today with Ms. Eberly and two other counselors about that neighborhood plan. We're actually going to be putting together a meeting, and it looks like it'll be beginning of November now. I may have heard me say something about late October, but turns out there's a conflict. So just wanted to let you know that's still happening.
Okay, what will be the main objective of having this meeting? What do you hope to?
Well, this
get?
first meeting,
Product or a change or?
the first meeting is mostly just to take the neighborhood's input on what they view as the main problems in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And then we'll use that as a basis for figuring out how to solve those problems.
Okay, just curious. Any comments from the audience? Don't have a whole lot here tonight. Numbers, but would be welcome. If not, we're adjourned. Well, then. Not the shortest.
Committees I've served on, this one
Yeah,
is,
this is
every once in a
You're
while,
short.
you'll hit a hiccup.
Yeah.
Pretty quick, pretty